What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and here we are with another character breakdown. And as you can see in the background, it's for that girl, Scarlet Witch, baby. So let's get right into this. And again, we're talking about Scarlet Witch. She is a duelist DPS flanker. She has a base health of 250 with a movement speed of 6 meters a second, man. Now, Scarlet Witch is a squishy duelist hero who relies on her normal attacks and ultimate to deal damage and wipe out enemy teams. Her normal attacks are the most notable part of her kit. Unlike other heroes in Marvel Rivals, Scarlet Witch does not have to aim. Her normal attack locks onto a target and keeps going until interrupted. This makes her an easy champion to pick up and great for those lacking in the aiming department. However, this also comes with a drawback. This drawback is that her normal attack deals less damage compared to other duelist heroes. Luckily, you can work around this with Scarlet Witch's ultimate, man. Now, Scarlet Witch, in my opinion, is definitely a DPS flanker. And if she's not flanking, she is definitely a hard counter to all the other aerial DPS characters such as Iron Man and Storm. When we get to the abilities later, I will describe to you how you can basically just erase each one of them out of the sky very, very easily. Now, other than that, Scarlet Witch is also a DPS, in my opinion, that pretty much will win any one-on-one with another DPS due to the fact of her ability to not have to aim, giving out consistent damage, and when you mix in her abilities, man. So over and all, Scarlet Witch, in my opinion, is very, very good, especially in the right hands, because if they're flanking that back line, they can take out healers very quickly. And, of course, you always got that ultimate in your back pocket, man. But let's go ahead and start getting into her abilities here. And the first one is going to be her normal attack, and that's going to be called Chaos Control. With this, you unleash chaos magic on enemies to deal damage based on percentage of their max health and restore chaos energy. This is a cylindrical spell field casting. The range is a cylindrical spell field with a radius of 3 meters and a height of 20 meters. The fire rate is 0.1 seconds per hit. The damage is 6 base damage plus 0.3% of the enemy's max health per hit. The Centurion boost recharge per hit is 0.08 per hit. The ammo count is infinite. There's no critical hit on this. The first special effect is it attacks the nearest enemy within range. And the second special effect is hitting with chaos control charges Centurion burst, man. So as you can see, when you use this here, when you're within range, you will get a chaos energy beam that essentially will lock onto your enemies and deal damage consistently. Now, if you're going up against your 275, 250 base heroes, which is your average DPS character, it will take around 6 seconds of a continuous beam in order to kill somebody. So around 6 seconds of this beam continuously will kill them. Now, when you go up and use this attack here is very good in close range, especially against other DPSs and healers. And even against tanks, you can go ahead and at least go ahead and put out continuous damage on the tank fairly easily. When you're up high, it does have good enough range to where you could be on like the second level and be hitting someone below you. And as well, when, like I said, all those people that fly around in the air like Iron Man and Storm, this attack here will be melting them. And as soon as we get to the other ability, I will show you exactly how you get that done, man. Now, we're going to move on to her next ability here. It's called Centurion Burst. And with this, you consume chaos energy to fire explosive magic missiles, damaging enemies. The casting is a straight line projectile that generates a spell field upon impact. The projectile speed is 120 meters a second. The projectile damage is going to be 35. The range is a 3 meter spherical radius. The spell field damage will be 35. The charge will be 4. And the default charging speed is 0.2 a second, man. Now, as you can see underneath your crosshair, you will see 4 icons. This will let you know how many of these missiles that you have, and you can have up to 4 of these charges stored up when you're using it. And as you can see, when you shoot these out, you will shoot out a missile that will do damage on impact. And if you don't hit the person directly, you can get splash damage if you hit next to them on the ground. Now, with this ability here, if you hit them 4 times directly with the missile, you will get a kill. So if you hit all 4 of these directly, you will get a kill on your 275 to 250 heroes. But when it comes to the tanks, you'll just be putting out even more damage. Now, this ability here is so that Scarlet Witch has a long range attack, as her basic attack does have more of a close range feel to it. So now she does have ability to help her shoot people at a distance, and that'll be this ability here. And at 35 damage, projectile is pretty good. And again, you'll primarily be using this when you're too far to use your primary attack, and you just want to still be able to lay out some damage. You'll go ahead and shoot these out at the enemy, into a crowd, or at someone specifically, man. So again, this is another great move for her, making her even more deadly. Now, we got to move on to her next ability, which will be called telekinesis. And with this, you hold the button to fall slowly. This does give you a horizontal movement speed of 6 meters a second and the descending speed of 3.5 meters a second. Now, as you can see, when you come out the air and you're falling down, you will enter this telekinesis state, which will just make you help you fall slow. Now, this right here is a great ability that when you use it in tandem with one of her other abilities will allow you to definitely melt a lot of the people up in the air while you be falling slowly. Now, other than that, I don't really see too much use for this move other than keeping you in the air longer. And we will talk about this a little bit more later on when we get into another ability, because you're going to basically use this as a way to take out them Iron Mans and Storms, and like I was speaking about earlier. Now, let's get into our next ability here, which is going to be called Dark Seal. And with this, you land a hit on a target or the scene by pressing the button again to generate a force field that periodically stuns enemies within range. The casting is a straight line projectile that generates a spell field upon impact. The projectile speed is 40 meters a second. The spell field generation delay is 0.8 seconds. The range is a 3 meters spherical radius. The spell field duration is 4.5 seconds. The detection interval is 1.25 seconds. The stun duration per detection is 0.5 seconds. And the cooldown is 12 seconds, man. Now, as you can see, when you pop this out here, you will shoot out a red orb, and you're going to want to hit the button again when it gets to the destination you wish for it to be at. Once it does get there, it will expand, creating a red dome, and any enemy caught within this dome will be stunned periodically. Now, understand this does not do any damage, and it is basically meant for crowd control. Now, when you most likely want to use this ability is when you see a big crowd fight going on. You want to go ahead and shoot this into that crowd, pop the bubble in the crowd. This way, the enemies are stunned periodically, giving your team the advantage from time to time, as they won't be able to attack, use their abilities, or defend themselves in any shape, form, or manner. Now, again, you're going to want to use this in chokeholds. You're going to want to use this in big team fights to go ahead and give your team that extra advantage by stunning enemies as much as possible. Other than that, that's primarily what you're going to want to use this ability for. But remember, it does not do any damage. It is strictly used for crowd control, man. Now, we got to get into her last ability here, which is probably her main one you're going to be using a lot, and that's going to be called Mystic Projection. And with this, you enter the phase state for free flight, pressing the button again to exit early. This is a dash casting. The duration is 2 seconds. The movement boost is going to be 50%. You get 2 charges on this. The recharge speed is 8 seconds per charge. And the special effect is during this period, Scarlet Witch enters the projection state. Now, this ability here is going to be your main movement ability, and in my opinion, it's one of the best abilities in the game, as not only does it make you invulnerable, but it gives you a 50% movement boost, and it allows you to not only go vertical, but horizontal as well. Now, we're going to talk about how Scarlet Witch is able to melt Iron Mans and Storms, okay? When you have an Iron Man or Storm, if you use the Mystic Projection, you use the charge once to go up in the air, and then use it again, because you can use both charges one after the other if you have both stored. So you use one to get up in the air, use another one to get up a little higher to be on the same level as the person flying, and then when you come out, you will enter the telekinesis free fall state, and you use your normal attack, and by the time you fall out of the air, you will melt either an Iron Man or Storm. These two characters will hate you due to this move right here. This Mystic Projection will allow you to reach up to them, and once you get to them, your normal attack mixed in with your telekinesis freefall will melt them. Not only that, when you are in 1v1 situations, what you should do is you use your normal attack, then pop this Mystic Projection to phase back through them to make them have to do a full 360, a full 180, hit them again with your normal attack, phase back through to the other side, and then hit them one more time and they should die. Most of the time, anytime I've come up against a Scarlet Witch, this move right here is the vein of my existence. Not only in a 1v1 situation can you use it to be able to dodge and attack, but if you have somebody weak and they try to run from you, you can enter this state, get that 50% movement boost, and chase them down. And then with your main attack having detectability, you will be able to get close enough to melt them. So again, this Mystic Projection right here is probably one of the best movement abilities in the game, and mixed in with her other abilities, you will be terrifying the enemy team, man. Trust me. Now, we're going to get into her ult, which everyone knows this, but you probably don't even know what it's really called. But it's called Reality Erasure, and with this, you engage in a free flight while charging energy. Then unleash it to deal massive damage, man. This is a spherical spell field casting. The range is a 15 meters spherical radius. The damage is 750. The charge time is 4 seconds. The slow rate is you begin to slow down immediately, with the effect gradually increasing to negative 35% by 3.5 seconds. And the special effect is during this period, Scarlet Witch enters a free flight state, man. Now, as you pop this ability here, you will hear what we all fear to hear, which is that pure chaos. And you will go into a free flight state in which you will begin to charge up your chaos energy. Once you charge it, you will release it, dealing a whole bunch of damage. Now, this ultimate here can change the tide of any fight in any game as soon as you use it. Now, I got to give you guys some tips on how to get this ability off. Now, if you're playing on a team where you are talking with your healers, one way to always make sure you get this ult off is to tell one of the healers to pocket heal you as soon as you start the ult. This way, while you're doing it and people are trying to kill you, you are still being healed at the time. Or you want to do this in conjunction with like an Invisible Woman ult, a Mantis ult, or a Luna ult. This way, they can't kill you while you are charging up. Now, if you don't have a healer, or if you're not in communication with your teammates and you're trying to get this ability off, what I suggested you initiate it like around the corner or out of sight, and then as it's charging up, you then come into the area. So you probably want to be fairly close. Like, again, she is a flanker, so you're probably going to want to flank the team, be right behind them around the corner, initiate it, because once they hear you start screaming, they will look for you, but you will be right behind them. Come around the corner as you're charging up. This way, by the time you come around the corner, you should be ready to release the ult. So remember, this ult right here is definitely a big game changer, and most of the time you will be able to get this off as long as you time it correctly, or you have a pocket healer on the team making sure you're healthy, man. Now, the last thing we got to talk about with Scarlet Witch is going to be her team-ups, which she does have one, and hers is going to be called Chaotic Bond. And with this, Scarlet Witch can infuse chaos energy into Magneto to enhance his greatsword. Upon receiving the chaos energy, Magneto can unleash his full force, striking down enemies with his enhanced great sword, man. And Scarlet Witch gets a team-up bonus for this, which is a 10% damage boost, man. Now, as you can see with this ability here, you essentially give Magneto access to the great sword with the chaos infused magic. This is pretty good for Magneto users, so if you do have a Magneto main, it is good to actually play Scarlet Witch with him, as it only makes him that much more dangerous, giving him access to this attack. Now, how does this team up rank along the rest of the others? This one here, in my opinion, is probably like B tier, as it's not really bad. I can see the use of it, and then having Magneto and Scarlet on the team is, in my opinion, are two good players to have, as Scarlet can go ahead and be a flanker and have access to that ult, and Magneto is one of the better tanks in the game, being able to frontline, and he has a good ult, and then on top of that, you give him access to an even better attack, man. So I would say this team up here is probably around a B tier lineup. Now, over and all, Scarlet Witch, in my opinion, definitely is a fun character to use. If you are going up against Iron Man or Storm, next time you see that, definitely pick them and just go kill that person specifically. I'm telling you, it is satisfying. You'll be pissing them off, and you'll even notice it, because there's one game I played, and you might even see it in the, you might have seen it in the gameplay in the background. This Iron Man was so mad at me playing that he flew off the side of the map so I wouldn't be able to go kill him. But I said, you know what, screw it, I will go kill myself. So I flew right on out there and still killed him and died in the process. But I don't even care because I was just trying to be salty and piss him off. So again, Scarlett Witch is a flanker DPS that I truly believe you will have fun using. And if you can't aim, don't worry about it. She got you, man. But this has been another one of them character breakdowns, and I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at that boy ETV. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.